The final, complete text of your Facebook post, ready for you to copy and paste. I have incorporated the new section on legislative trickery, with all spelling and grammatical corrections applied to the entire piece. To my fellow Democrats, I have placed posts on TikTok that have led to a lot of controversial arguments. If you have followed me, you know that I am one of the most respectful Democrats who speaks in pro of democracy and against Trump. I can mock Trump and the GOP, but I refrain from being rude to Republican voters who are not politicians. This approach has led me to learn from Republicans about several things I didn't know about Democrats. It has also led some of those Republicans to actually hear me in a way that I would not have been heard if I had taken this to a personal level with them. So I beg you from the bottom of my heart, address the issue, but not the messenger. Just today, a friend of mine, who is a very clear anti-Trumper and not a Republican, made a comment that made him seem like he was not agreeing with an idea that would have been in favor of the Democratic Party. He immediately received a personal comment from one of us, singling him out as a Republican who makes comments with no data. I had to intervene and make sure that everybody knew that he is not vouching for Republican ideals. This attitude of stating an alleged fact or an irrefutable fact and then putting down whoever wants to counterpoint that idea is not helping Democrats, and it's not helping Republicans either. If we continue to attack the messenger instead of just attacking the issue, we are only going to make our international enemies way more powerful than us, which is already a reality that is happening. The consequences of that situation could make us slaves, not to a dictator in the United States, but to a dictator from a foreign country. So I beg you from the bottom of my heart, address the issue and not the messenger. If you read this from the beginning, you probably noticed that I've said that. I have learned some things from Republicans, not only recently but throughout the years. I'm not going to address the dumb or the uninformed, because every group has these, and that does not qualify the whole constituents as such. But the uninformed are the majority of us, you see. To most Democrats, even the most intelligent and informed Republicans seem to be uninformed. They are usually uninformed because they get their information from newscasts that favor only their point of view. They don't look at our information because it makes them sick, as they see us like a bunch of liars speaking. The same could be said for Democrats. I could place myself as an example for that, because I only have to watch Fox News for 5 minutes before I get sick of their bunch of lies. As a result, they don't see our stuff, and we don't see theirs. The only way we see what the other side has done or said is through the lens of the host of the newscast that we're watching. But even if it's a bigger percentage of inaccurate statements, there are some statements that are true. We don't get to see them because we have to dig through a lot of stuff that we just would rather not see, since we can easily debunk those things. Our real enemy is lack of transparency, and before you go off on me telling me that we used to have the fairness doctrine until a Republican stopped it, once again, I want to address the issue rather than the messenger, and to be honest, I would much rather have somebody like Ronald Reagan leading the right than what we have today. The point remains, we need transparency. Many Republicans have come to our side, which is what explains the big amount of people we have been seeing in our protests. Please follow, Democrats. Consider the fact that without those ex-Republicans who became independents, or even those Republicans who are out marching against the actions of the wannabe dictator, it is precisely because of this change in mindset that we're becoming so big as a force against this regime. In the efforts of rebutting the actions of Republicans and their support for Trump, I have encountered several things that I was not able to rebut. Things that most Democrats don't like or would prefer not to know. But I will place them here, because there's no way we can get ahead without transparency. The truth is worth everything when it comes to achieving peace. And please don't get me wrong, I marched proudly on October 18th. I was amazed that I found a peaceful environment. I was expecting to be running around and hiding from ICE, as we were being threatened by Trump. But that should not be a reason why not to address the things that we want to improve. So here it is. 1. I am very proud that Nancy Pelosi instructed or suggested to arrest ICE members that are breaking the law, but it seems that even though the Democratic Party has attempted to create laws against insider trading from the privileged position they have, I have never been able to find a transparent route that shows honesty to her enrichment. The fact that she has fought for democracy and democratic values so intelligently does not debunk the other fact. 2. I am very proud that Schumer showed courage, backing up the general Democratic sentiment, which is not to give up and use whatever we have available, such as the shutdown, to negotiate the severe increase in health insurance costs for all Americans. But that doesn't take away the fact that he has acted as the only man who is the adult in the room, the intelligent one, and has gone against the Democratic generalized sentiment and the votes. It is very possible that he just did this because of that reason, trying to not get primaried out. And it is true that he asked for a closed-door meeting, something that Republicans and Democrats both are sick about. These closed-door meetings usually result in everybody on the top winning, and the ones who are not important politicians or wealthy people losing. There was a closed-door meeting with our House Minority Leader Jeffries. So the argument that the Republicans will not do these closed-door meetings is not valid, but actually, we would love to have these meetings with transparency for the public. 3. There was a Republican who was trying to point out that Obamacare, ACA, was a failure since the first day. He alleged that they lost $3 million in setting up a website that wouldn't work, having a very rough start. The fact is that he was wrong. But not on his behalf, but on ours. Artificial intelligence has taught me that the website actually lost way more money, closer to $100 million. And in later reports, it was closer to $300 million, and in later analysis, it became an amount over the $1 billion, closer to $2 billion, and some estimates point out up to $3 billion. My sentiment to this is to remember what Obama said when he started this program. He said, fix it, change it, improve it. But don't kill it. I totally agree with this, because universal healthcare is not something that Obama invented. Many countries have it, and it works well. Even China, with a dictatorship, has a system that covers 95% of their population, even if they have better covered insurance that you can buy for extra money, just like we have it here. So universal healthcare works. It's just that we have been very bad about making it work. Governor Newsom has admitted that transgender male to females should not compete in sports with females because it renders a physical advantage to the transgender since she was born as a male. I am transgender. With the hormones, my strength is diminished from the one that a man would have, but for the most part, I would be stronger than most generic women of my age. Now, I'm not saying that this is an educated opinion. It is just my perception, and I will be willing to listen to experts in the matter. But personally, I think that Democrats are losing a lot of support for something that defends such a small population, which would be those transgenders who compete in sports with women, mostly in contact sports. 4. Both Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton have said that they back up the marriage of one man and one woman. When I saw this, my sentiment was not against them. On the contrary, I was happy to see that our president back then had the capability to represent his Democratic constituents, advocating for gay marriage, in spite of the fact that he personally doesn't believe in it. The same goes for Hillary, but I was deeply troubled by the fact that I didn't learn about this on MSNBC. Instead, I had to learn it from a Republican debater who led me to the video where this was said. Would it be fair to say that there is no perfect party? We are losing our country because we're fighting each other. In the midst of this happening, Republicans are willing to vouch for a bunch of pedophiles, and Democrats are willing to have a deaf ear to any of our downsides, as if trying to prove that our party is perfect. It's not perfect. It's just better, mostly considering that the Republican Party has compromised their integrity in a bigger way than ever, backing up Donald Trump even as we watch him trying to get rid of our right to vote, crushing our Constitution to the point of his trying to stay beyond 2 terms. It is a fact that Nancy Pelosi said about the ACA, that in order to know what's in the bill, you have to approve the bill. But this is not unique to the Democratic Party, nor to Nancy Pelosi. There are many cases on both sides of the aisle where this kind of trickery of pushing bills without giving a chance to the minority parties to read it, to analyze it, and to object to parts of it has occurred. Here are some examples of Republicans doing this. A. May 4, 2017, the American Health Care Act, AHCA, House vote. Following the adoption of a pivotal last-minute amendment on May 3, 2017, giving Congress less than 24 hours to review the final legislative package, which lacked a full CBO score. B. December 2, 2017, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act Senate vote, passed in the early morning hours, which was preceded by the introduction of handwritten amendments to the approx 500-page Senate version in the hours immediately before the final vote, leaving members with only hours to read the substantial changes. C. July 1, 2025, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, OBBBA, Senate vote, following the release of the final 940-page text on the preceding Friday night, leaving members of Congress with approx 36 hours to review the massive bill before the vote, prompting a 16-hour marathon reading by the opposition. Pushing blindfold legislation is as annoying to one side of the aisle as it is to the other. It's just like term limits and age limits. We both want it, but it's only wise when our side says so, and it's dumb when the other side suggests the same thing. Quite frankly, it's ridiculous. If Republicans don't like it and Democrats don't like it, then let's get together, make a petition from both sides, and push it. If we lose the capability to debate peacefully, we lose the capability of resolving peacefully. And if we do that, the only ones that will win will be the ones on top, that already have their bunkers made, and even more so, our international enemies. Because if we lose the capability of debating peacefully, we lose transparency. Summary of the conversation.